I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Goyke, second by Ms. Sindor. Any discussion on that? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the approval of our minutes of our February 10th City Council meeting and Committee of the Whole meetings. I'd entertain a motion to accept those.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion by Ms. Sindor. Second by Mr. Ortman. Any further discussion on those? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. That brings us to our citizen participation period. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and we'll have a 30-minute total time. Before we do that, there's a notice here that the clerk will read us, please.
Citizens may speak during the citizen participation period. If any member of the audience would like to speak outside of the citizen participation period, please raise your hand and wait for the presiding officer to recognize you. Audience members may speak outside of the citizen. Speakers will refrain from profanity and use of derogatory, accusing, or inflammatory remarks. All citizens are entitled to advance notice of topics that will be discussed at council and committee of the whole meetings. Therefore, councilors will not respond to citizen comments during the meeting. They will only listen. The presiding officer of the council or committee of the whole may address the matter by putting it on a future agenda for discussion or by providing some other kind of follow-up. Council may not take action on any matter not on the agenda.
Okay. With that, I have the sign-in list for those that wish to speak, and preference is given to the city residents first. And our first one, that appears to be, is it Elsie Keogh? No, it should be up. We're good. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm speaking on a topic that I'm pleased to hear will not be finally decided tonight, but it's occurred to me that certain foreign oil.
Pardon me, from online, we can't hear, so could you, maybe the mic isn't on?
Is the red button up?
It's up now.
Is it
That's
doing
better.
anything?
That's
Oh,
perfect.
marvelous.
Thank you
Okay,
so
very
much.
good, very good. Well, yes, that does feel rather more robust. So I wanted to point out that it seems that a certain oil company is now, after having so successfully convinced all the decision makers that water is not as important as oil, now they come to the city to provide them water for testing their machinery and to the city to clean up whatever contamination results. And the humor has moved me of late to consult the annals of previous councils in search of a hypocrisy commensurate with that at hand, and I have searched in vain, and I'm afraid the diction of yesteryear has somehow lodged itself and lingering in my mind. Your voters will not soon forget that your choice to aid or hinder these ghouls. The idea of a corporation determined to convince the public that we need no clean water as long as the oil flows, demanding the people's representatives supply them water and clean the contaminated remnants, is all rottenness and uncleanness from beginning to end. Any accessories to the ghouls' predations must be forever tainted with odium and suspicion. The people of our community are now tasked with aiding in our own execution. Please don't go quietly.
All righty. I'd ask no applause, please. I'm sorry, this is in a business meeting, and we don't want to dissuade somebody from feeling that they can't speak out to something else. So thank you. Next on the list is Dylan. I believe it's Dylan.
I would, is it
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Could we have the speakers give us your name and your address, please?
okay?
Thank you.
Is the microphone working? I am Dylan Defoe, and I live 914 7th Avenue East here in Ashland. I would like to add to what Miss Kaylee said with regards to just the selling of our local resources, of our police force, of anything that can be sold to Enbridge. Everyone at Enbridge, there is a question of if you had a button in front of you that you could push and some random person would die, you would get $1 million. Everyone at Enbridge goes into work and punches that button. Except most of that money just goes to the Koch brothers. To sell our resources, our community to them is unconscionable. It is shameful. Anyone here who facilitates that should feel a deep and consuming shame for the rest of their lives. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Tony Justice.
Hello, my name is Tony Justich. I live at 723 Fifth Avenue East here in Ashland. I am the owner and operator of Tuk Tuk Fusion, one of the food trucks that operates here around town. And I see that's on the agenda for tonight. So I'd like to address that, not taking anything away from those citizens here about Enbridge tonight. I'm also the executive director of Free Wisconsin, an organization that deals with justice impacted people. And I come to you today as a justice impacted person. I've spent 21 years in prison. I've served my time. I did my crime when I was 16 years old, over 30 years ago. And tonight I see on the agenda an item that strikes directly to the heart of my business, right? When I go out and I serve individuals food off of my food truck, right? I have had 2 incidences where somebody has actually come up to the truck and went and called me either a pedophile or other worse names, right? And that kind of thing I thought was not part of this town, of the fabric of this town. But I'm actually surprised to find myself here today, right? I was supposed to be down in Madison. It's the Wisconsin Day of Empathy. It's one of the largest criminal justice action days in Wisconsin. I was supposed to be down in Madison speaking to state legislators today, but I felt the need to come here and speak out against this ordinance here today because this is my own hometown, right? And when there was absolutely no incidences at any of the events that I attended to, but now on the agenda tonight, there's actually, the ordinance says that it gives sole discretion to city staff to exclude individuals based upon a threat of disruption or that the individual could be perceived as a threat, right? This is basically an attempt to go and legislate me out of going and attending city events. When I originally went and talked to city staff about this, I've always respected their wishes. They've always told me when I was doing concerts at the park right behind us in the park here, they said, wait, because of this incident, it's so new. There's stuff on Facebook, there's social media going around, calling you a pedophile, going and posting your CCAP record, right? Wait. And I waited, and city staff never went and contacted me about any of this. I had to find out about this ordinance from going and just reading the agenda in the minutes.
30 seconds.
Right? This ordinance that you have in front of you, it's vague. It is spurred, at least in part, by me. I believe there should be ordinance, there should be regulation, right? But I would urge you to vote this down, send it back to committee, and allow the stakeholders, such as myself, other food truck owners, to come in and have actual voice in this and not just listen to the voice of the vocal minority in this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Again, please no clapping. It looks like Soren is,
No.
is it Beneke? Okay.
Hi, Soren Beneke, 822 Ellis Avenue.
So I would like to also cast my opposition to the proposal to sell water to Enbridge. I haven't had a chance to do a deep dive into the details on this yet, so I'm going to speak more on principle. We should not be cooperating with Enbridge, period. The fact that this is even being entertained at all disturbs me. We should know what Enbridge is up to. My understanding is Bad River is not even done litigating with them right now. Enbridge's MO, like all extractive industries, is to ingratiate themselves into the community, posing as bringers of wealth and prosperity, extract as much profit as possible, then leave the community with long-term ecological and economic afflictions. Any benefit to the community is incidental. Any responsibility taken by a company like Enbridge is only done when forced. No promise Enbridge can make is one that we can trust. We're invested in the longevity of our community, having clean water and a livable biosphere, and protecting our native brothers and sisters. This council has an obligation to resist aiding Enbridge in every way possible. I would also like to speak on the matter of federal immigration agents. I understand certain community members have been asking for this issue to be put on the agenda for several weeks now, at least. I think it's time to put this on the agenda. Washburn has already passed a policy on this, and Ashland needs a specific written policy as well. I won't belabor the reasons why, because I'm sure you've all heard them a million times. But some specific policy items I think should be discussed are prohibiting the city and Ashland Police from participating in 287G, prohibiting the city and Ashland APD from assisting federal immigration agents in the identification, location, detainment, or processing of individuals in our community, prohibiting the city and APD from sharing the names and information of foreign-born individuals in our community or city jails with federal immigration agents, prohibiting federal immigration agents into city jails without a judicial warrant, requiring the APD to deny all requests to hold suspected or known non-citizens in their
30
jails,
seconds.
including detainers, prohibiting the use of all city property as the basis for logistical or staging operations by immigration agents, and from APD from asking about immigration status during encounters with citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Cutler, please.
Aaron Cutler, 816 Water Street. Good evening. First of all, I'd like to congratulate our Public Works Department on their successful completion of our water intake system and its transition without a hiccup. I want to voice my support for the use of our water. If Enbridge desires, for the record. In regards to immigration policy in our town, I will like to express my support for our local police department and law enforcement to execute lawful warrants for arrest. I have 2 sons of an immigrant father. I have obtained legal citizenship for my family, extended family, and I support legal and lawful execution of warrants. I believe that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next would be Bailey Kroll.
Hello, City Council members. My name is Bailey Kroll. I live at 1301 6th Avenue West. I'm here to speak about a couple of different things. First, I don't think that people should have to pay for the sidewalks in front of their homes. Sidewalks are public, everybody uses them, and I think the city should take full responsibility for the cost of them and end the special assessment policy. Hearing your discussion last week of Prentice versus 13th Avenue East and the huge difference in cost, especially without really even talking about adding sidewalk where there isn't any currently, was really illuminating. I appreciate that many of you raise concerns and that some of you are also against the practice of sidewalk special assessments. Secondly, I'm here to talk again about local law enforcement and the need for a more robust ICE non-compliance policy. I sent you all an email last week with the policies I would like to see and links to what other cities have done. Last month, myself and a couple other people spoke at the Ashland County Board meeting about similar policies relating to their jurisdiction. This morning at their meeting, they had a public comment period with Q&A, like response, specifically for talking about ICE and local law enforcement. It was really helpful, informative, and honestly inspiring to have a board that responded swiftly to our request for public conversation around this. I'm disheartened that after myself and a couple people, similar number and size of people spoke at that meeting, spoke last week, and there was no response. I asked why and what I could do to make this an agenda item and received no response. The people of Ashland are on edge and deserve a stronger policy, a public statement, and a listening session. ICE has been here and APD assisted them. This cannot be swept under the rug. I tried to find the Ashland Police Department policy online, had a challenging time, was able to find a copy through a friend and read it over this weekend. I have some notes and additions that I'd recommend changing in order to not allow for loopholes for police-ICE cooperation and to adopt more direct language that affirms APD's commitment to serving the people of Ashland. Please explicitly state that you will not adopt a 287G agreement, as they are not consistent with furthering APD's policing philosophy, and that's language borrowed from Madison's policy. Please also clarify that an administrative warrant cannot be used as probable cause or reasonable suspicion to help aid an ICE agent. There's a lot of probable cause and reasonable suspicion in here that I feel like can be used as loopholes for that cooperation. Lastly, I urge you to not sell water to Enbridge. This goes directly against Resolution 17547 that you all passed in February of 2020. We do not need this pipeline. It brings oil and natural gas
30 seconds.
from Canada to Canada, a lot of which gets exported. We do not benefit from selling water to them. Please uphold your commitment to the Bad River Tribe and say no. Thank you.
Thank you. Eam? Eam? Or is it just the initial EM? Okay.
Hello, my name is M. Cardenas. I live at 808 Chapel Ave. Good evening. First off, as a part to full-time pedestrian, snow removal in this city leaves a lot to be desired. Curb cuts at intersections are often completely blocked off as people remove snow from the rest of the sidewalks, and few people bother to clear all the way to the curb for pedestrians. The new practice of leaving snow in the median on the street instead of off to the side often leaves a 2 or more foot pile of snow in the middle of crosswalks, forcing pedestrians to walk into the street to get around them. So I just ask that you please ensure that city-owned buildings are properly clearing sidewalks and curb cuts and encourage private property owners to do the same. Second, Ashland must not sell water to Enbridge for Line 5 reroute. In 2020, this council did sign a resolution in support of the Bad River Tribe in their efforts against Line 5, and in my opinion, selling water to Enbridge for this Line 5 construction efforts violates this resolution. Lastly, Policy 413 of the Ashland Police Department aims to provide guidance regarding federal immigration. I think that policy sucks and we need a new one. Section 413.6 states that officers may provide assistance to federal immigration officials, and 413.7 states that no one in the police department can restrict anyone else from fully cooperating and communicating with federal immigration agencies. This, in my mind, is pretty bad. Police should not cooperate or accompany ICE during activities in the area and should not share information with ICE about residents of Ashland. This is a matter of safety for our residents and protection for our police. DHS and ICE have shown time and time again that they do not respect the law, and I do not want our local police to be implicated in unlawful activities by aiding and abetting DHS and ICE. Thank you.
Thank you. She?
Hi, I'm Shay Schackermeyer. My kids and I have lived in Washburn now since September, but prior to that, we lived here in the city of Ashland. And just want to remind you that in these small communities, we are all one community. So while we might not be city of Ashland residents right now, that does not mean that we don't grocery shop here and have friends and family here. And so please take our concerns into consideration as well. We are here today to speak for the water. We were given a heads up that the Public Works Committee was discussing the sale of City of Ashland municipal water to Enbridge just the other week. And it feels really important to come and have transparency and discussion about this prior to a decision being made. I was living in Ashland and also working for the Bad River Band as the Wetlands and Water Resource Specialist in 2020 when the city of Ashland passed the resolution. And I felt so proud. I just want to take a minute because that sort of resolution coming from a city government is a big deal. And I still feel proud to live in a community where local governments will put themselves out there and take a stand on such important issues. And to hear that there's concern that the city of Ashland might be sued in the event that they deny selling water to Enbridge, and that would be a reason to proceed with the sale, even though it's against what council members want and what residents want. It's hard to hear, you know. That resolution states that you're in support of Bad River Band and the removal of Line 5 from not just the reservation, but from the Bad River watershed. And that means that includes this reroute project. As you know, Bad River has sustained countless years of lawsuits. They have denied millions of dollars from Enbridge. They are also in a financial position where that is a big deal. I understand. That's fine. I understand it's a big deal to face the threat of a lawsuit from Enbridge. I'm not trying to make light of that. And yet, if you put yourself out there as an ally to our neighbors in Bad River, this is what it means to be an ally. You have to align your actions with your words. Otherwise, it's an empty promise. This is an opportunity to heal some of the mistrust that's happened between our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd ask that Liz Arbuckle please come up and let me introduce Ms. Arbuckle. She's the new chair out at Bad Rivers. I'm sorry we had to make you sit through all that. We'd known we to put you on the agenda.
No, it's
welcome.
perfect. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I appreciate it. I was also told that this was the I was just going to say that I came because I heard there was going to be the water discussion. So I too wanted to make a plea to preserve our waters. A very brief discussion before this said that's not on the agenda, but I do want to thank you for the 2020 support resolution. That's fantastic. But I also want to extend an invitation, Mayor. Maybe we can meet later and I can learn more about what is true and what isn't true. And you know, we do have a lot of public meetings out at Bad River, public forums. We actually were supposed to have one tonight. We canceled because we were just waiting for some more information. So to learn more about what you guys are doing, to hear more about this potential lawsuit or the barriers to not selling to Enbridge or the reasons for selling to Enbridge, whatever. So to try to hear from the horse's mouth, I'd love to have a sit down with you and anyone from our council and your council. You know, I think that's long overdue to work together. And as the lady before me, yeah, we shop here, our kids go to school here. You know, we have a long history of neighbors, being neighbors with Ashland and trading in Ashland. So that was the one talk. So I'll follow up with you later on that. But otherwise, Yep, definitely standing up to save our water and to make that impassioned plea for you to reconsider if that's a potential possibility. But we'll keep talking. The other thing, obviously, introduce myself. Thank you for this moment. I don't mean to take up city people's valuable time. The other thing I was going to say, I've heard a lot about ICE. We had a public forum on ICE because we had a lot of community concerns. So we did have a forum. The Ashland County Sheriff came, the school superintendent came. Angela Stroud came. We had a really great turnout with tribal members online and in the house. And it was just a really nice way for people to share what they're feeling and maybe some of those actual fears. So we have been also working on similar policies. So I'm interested to see the Oh, I thought you were sending me some. The similar policies, but also we came up with a few things like little shortcuts to help our elders. Our elders are afraid to go to Walmart now. So, we created little buddies for elders to do things together in Ashland. And, it's about community. You've heard that here tonight. This is one community, Bad River's another, Washburn's another, but it's all kind of Chequamegon Bay, community that we share a lot of resources, thoughts, values, and I think I'd just love to work together with you more.
Thank you.
That's all I had. Thanks.
Last on our list then is Denise. Is there Denise?
Hello, my name is Denise Bosock. I live in Washburn, between Washburn and the Roundabout. So, but this is my community too, as Washburn is. I shop there, I shop here. I live in a different living situation where I rely on the natural sources of water. I don't have plumbing in my place. So it's very, very important to me, as to so many people I meet at the wells, that we keep our water clean and safe. If we're going to be selling the water to Enbridge, that is likely to put our water sources in peril. So many, many years ago, when I moved here and spent some time out on Manitou Island for about 10 years, the docent out there. And when I was out there, I would drink Lake Superior water for the first 5 years. And then I started checking into some studies, and the water then had the microplastics in it and some other things. So that put a kibosh on that, which was really sad, because we should be able to drink our wild waters. So if we're going to potentially have Enbridge taking the water and then supposedly cleaning it and bringing it back into the systems, we're likely not to get all the chemistry out of there that they use when they're doing the drilling. So therefore would put the Lake Superior in more peril. So I encourage you not to participate with Enbridge in selling the water from the city source. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Kingfisher.
Can you hear me? Hello, my name is Joe Nathan. My first name is Joe Nathan, ZB Kingfisher. I live at 2813 Farm Road, and I oppose any cooperation with Enbridge. I oppose Enbridge's operations and industry completely. I grew up in Olivet, Michigan, that's just near Marshall, Michigan, where the spill happened. I was there the night that the spill happened, and I drove there. It was about 7 miles from my house. When about halfway, there was this incredible surge wall wave of wildlife. Everything that was could move was on the run. I mean, it was down the highway, and then everything comes. I get to town, and it is completely gassed out. It is like petro fog. And this lasts for months, for weeks. The fallout from the air, people don't realize when there's a spill like that, it's coming out of the air, it's hitting the water, and it's like people would put dog bowls out. Weeks later, there'd be, oily sheen on the water. So Enbridge, when that happened, they faked the cleanup. They told their people not to clean up. They vilified the whistleblowers. They threatened. We had a meeting over here at the high school. Enbridge threatened the neighbors with eminent domain because his kid was talking bad at Enbridge in college. This is a gangster operation. And the cancer, by the way, the VA was like 20, 30 miles away from the spill, and the VA Veterans Association, where my mom worked, experienced a huge increase in exotic cancers. Okay, I think that the hospital building is purely cancer treatment for the Superfund Ordoc that people used to love to swim in, right? It's the big community swim pride spot. Well, a lot of people have cancer now, and they're not even planning for the cancer that's going to maybe fall out. If Enbridge gets their way and fossil fuels are pushed through on this ancient thing that was there, with the deal was this pipeline was supposed to go away. It was an emergency. World War II, we got to do this. No, World War II is over. We don't need this anymore. Okay, this pipeline is a bad idea from start to finish. And I care about Ashland and the communities, the watershed, this place. And I've been through terrible tragedy, and the risk is very real, imminent danger with this
30
immoral
seconds.
corporation. Enbridge, I don't trust, don't want any cooperation with. I want them back in Canada. And think about it, if a bomber came through and blew up, and then they poisoned us with cancer. No, they'll pay Americans to do it. Do you love your country? Do you love to plunder your country? I love the country.
Thank you. All right. With that, we'll close citizen participation. We'll move to the mayor's report. I don't really have any comments for you tonight. No, I'm sorry. We're done with citizen participation. So with tonight, we also have a presentation from Eller. So I'm going to forego my announcements for tonight to make sure we have time for all that. With that, we'll move on to the administrator's report.